Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new podcast here on Arsenal Aura. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great time wherever you are. My name is Michael, and I'm here to talk about Arsenal. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Arsenal Aura. Happy Sunday to everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining and listening. In today's episode of the pod, we're gonna have a brief overview of yesterday's game against Everton. It was the final game that Arsenal played at Goodison Park, and it finished 1-1. Arsenal got 1 point, or Everton got 1 point, better said. From that game. It was pretty obvious, although I did discuss in a couple of episodes about the mathematical chances of still fighting for the title, but that, with every draw and every loss and everything that happened, that chances become slimmer and slimmer, and now they're probably inexistent for a while, but just to make sure, PGMOL once again made the Premier League. They made a fool of themselves and the Prem and whatever else. It's at this point it's getting ridiculous. I don't know what was happening or what happened or what the yesterday's referee was doing. Because he had a shocking performance. I don't even know how to say, it was literally shocking the way he officiated the game. Arsenal started with a very changed team because even though Arteta and the players, they keep repeating the same mantra that we're looking only at the game in front of us, it was pretty obvious that Arteta wanted to rest some players for the Real Madrid game, and it makes sense. But when you saw the first 11 out on the pitch, you weren't overfilled with optimism and confidence that we can get a win. Arsenal didn't, I don't think they played badly, but it was just for the team that was out there, that they didn't play a lot together, and changing players in key positions can have that effect. But at least you gave some minutes to some players, you kept some players fresh, and you did some second half substitutions. I think we were all expecting that, and to be completely honest, I'm not a fan of Everton, the way they play, and not necessarily now, but for a long while they're a very physical team. They're very aggressive. They're very, they don't play good, nice football, right? They play something similar to Stoke. I don't like it. I always fear for injuries when we play against Everton, because they're always very, very aggressive in the tackles and whatever else. And you could see that again in yesterday's game. Arsenal opened the scoring through Leandro Trossard, and to be honest, during the game, Everton didn't look very, they didn't look like scoring, to be honest. But in the same time, Arsenal, with a makeshift with Sterling and Merino back in midfield, and Jorginho, we know he doesn't have the ability anymore to run for 90 minutes and play at a really high tempo or really high intensity. We had a back four that included White and Kivior. I think they played okay. White was a little bit rusty, but it's understandable. I mean, he didn't have, although he was back for a couple of 3 or 4 games, I think, he didn't have a lot of minutes in. So yeah, pretty difficult. But we opened the scoring. I think it was 30 something minute. And again, Everton didn't look threatening. However, the PGMOL, like the referees seem to take decisions based on the level of noise in the stadium. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing. He was expecting, and if the fans were making a lot of noise and stuff, he was giving free kicks and whatever else. So, very weird. And these two elements, right? The PGMOL, which we know they're like at this point they're a clown institution. Also, the fact that Everton are really physical. I was a little bit on the edge while watching the game, because I was like, oh my god, I hope we don't get another injury. I hope the referee is shaky, but maybe he'll be decent, right? And in the first minute or first couple of minutes in the second half, we saw that he continued his circus, and he probably was on a mission to get PGMOL on the talking point on everywhere. So he decided to give a penalty, for a kind of a, I don't even know what to say. Like, of course, Miles Lewis-Kelly, he didn't quite dealt with the that ball fairly well, but in the same time, you cannot give a penalty for something that happened outside the box, and there was absolutely no contact when the Everton player, I don't remember which one was, fell in the box. So he pointed to the spot, and VAR checked it. They didn't even send him to the screen. They said they cleared the penalty. And it's a shame that it happens this in the Prem, and instead of playing of a beautiful, nice game, we're talking about the referees again. And as many people have commented and mentioned this, you will never see that again. But for Arsenal, that's the first and that's the last. But yeah, that's a lot of points that Arsenal have lost due to absolutely abject refereeing. And I was looking at the Champions League game, and I was thinking that in the Champions League the referees were decent. However, I remembered the Real Madrid Atletico one in the penalty shootout, and then I was like, oh, wait a second, we're playing against Real Madrid. Let's hope the Champions League is going to be different, and let's hope the referees, they're gonna have a good performance in that game. It was understandable that Arteta made some halftime substitutions. He was bringing in Martinelli and Saka because he was expecting Everton to try to push for an equalizer, and we could catch them on the break. It didn't happen because Everton got a penalty that was never should be a penalty, and they equalized from that, and then it was a little bit challenging. I think Martinelli is starting to pick up some form, I think, and that's good for the Real Madrid games, because we're gonna need everyone up and firing. Saka was a little bit rusty. He wasn't as kind of involved. He had a couple of chances, but some good moments. But I think he was better against Fulham, to be honest. I liked him more. He was a little bit more lively. He had a little bit more determination. Here in the Everton game, he was a little bit... sometimes, I don't know, we judge things from our perspective. You know, and my perspective of this game, as I mentioned already a couple of times, was, you know, a player might get injured because they're not playing well. You know, they push, they go into hard tackles and whatever else. So I think maybe watching Saka in a couple of instances, I was thinking that he's protecting himself, kind of. I don't know. Maybe it was just me looking and thinking this way. Maybe it was true. Andrea Berta was in the stands. He watched that performance, and I think he realized, because even when Odegaard came, there was a little, like, he, at this point in time, he's a little bit worrying, even for the Real Madrid games. So I hope he finds some form. I hope he manages something special in those games, because we really need it. From him, he should be the creative spark, right, for Arsenal, but he doesn't seem to do a really good job in this season. And you know, Andrea Berta will have to do some improvements. We will have to bring in some really good players, creative midfielder, because you need that to unlock some teams, and you need that spark, as Arteta said. So 1 point at Everton, that's not good enough. I think we're at 11 draws this season. Of course, the Invincibles have had 12 draws, but they had 26 wins. So we had our fair share of losses this season as well. So still in second in the Premier League, and now I think all the focus and attention goes to the Champions League tie with Real Madrid. To be completely honest, I really enjoyed Kieran Tierney's cameo last night. I think he was decent, and I was thinking, but I don't think there's any chance that you start Timber, Saliba, Mazouras Kelly as a left center back, and Tierney as a left back. I don't think there's any chance. But I did like, and I think his chemistry and his connection with Martinelli, I think that's pretty. It's pretty nice. I saw some nice combinations down the left-hand side yesterday against Everton. I would still go White and Timber against Real Madrid. So 2 more days until the Real Madrid game. It's gonna be a massive game. Confident or not confident, optimist or not optimist about the game, it doesn't matter. You know, it's gonna be a really nice game. I hope the supporters that will show up will create an incredible atmosphere. I hope the players will be pumped and ready and raring to go. And I think I wish that Arsenal will win that game, and I think it's possible. But in the same time, I just want a very good and entertaining game. I think that's it. That's it from my side. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the Sunday. Have an excellent start to the week, and I'll be back with a game review after Real Madrid. Cheers, everyone.